What's going on, folks? Brandon the Broker here. Sorry about that. Brandon the Broker here, and we are here. We're not going to review anything in particular today or react to anything particular. I do need to watch this video a little bit later, so we're going to go ahead and kind of save that to watch later. But do you guys ever just scroll through the shorts just to see what happens? Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna. Holy crap! Okay, we're gonna have to come back to that one. Sarah Boone's gonna get one. Mike Israetel, I definitely need to watch more of his stuff because I need to get back on track. But anyway, what we're gonna do is,
all right,
let's see. Let's see what's here. Let's see. You have back boobs. Too fat for. How are you too fat for the gym? I swear, people make no sense. Anyway, let's go.
All right, open your eyes. Turn around.
Babe, this isn't a Cadillac.
Well, it's a Jeep Wagoneer. It's just as nice as a Cadillac. I bought it for you.
Are you messing with me right now?
No, you said you wanted an SUV for the family.
I said I wanted a Cadillac. This is not a Cadillac.
This is very similar. I looked up stuff that's similar to the Cadillac. This is very.
Why would you try to surprise me with something similar when I asked you for a Cadillac? I just wanted a Cadillac. That's what I asked for. And you said we couldn't get it.
You see that Jeep over there? Get inside, what are you doing? Oh my gosh. Turn it on. Oh no.
All right, open your eyes.
That was very heartwarming. I gotta admit. We'll just leave a little bit of something. I always like to leave a little bit of love on everybody's stuff, especially if I'm going to react to it. Next one.
You are not the father.
Yes!
Oops.
Told you!
Oops. Miss Renfro,
Oops.
that's not your child's biological father.
That's fine.
Do you know who is?
Yes, ma'am. If he wasn't the father, then yes, ma'am, I know.
Hold on. No. You cried yourself a river in this courtroom, baby. All the time, never testifying to the whole truth. Sitting up trying to pin a baby on a man. Hold on, I'm talking now. All that smirking and all that little smart mouth nonsense, you know where it got you? It got you where you don't know definitively who your child's biological father is. And if you do know who he is, you set up and wasted everybody else's time.
No, I didn't waste nobody's time.
Look, little smart mouth, since all you can do is shrug your shoulders, stay silent. You
I agree. This is one of the reasons why I am 100% for mandatory testing. Literally, as soon as the baby's out, nope, mandatory test right now. So we can, anyone that says, no, we don't need that. Yeah, you do. You need it. Okay, that was hilarious.
I told my mom she won't see my daughter for 2 months if she complains to my wife again. My wife is 7 months pregnant after a devastating stillbirth during her last pregnancy. She's terrified of history repeating itself, and while her doctor says everything looks good, she's anxious, has nightmares, and constantly seeks reassurance. We live 9 hours from family, and my wife wants only her mom to help during labor and the first week afterward. She's asked for no other visitors initially so she can recover without pressure. Once we're ready, my parents are welcome to stay in our guest room and spend quality time with the baby. I fully support her plan. When I explained this to my mom, she got upset and insisted she and my dad would drive up when my wife goes into labor, wait at the hospital, and visit immediately. I told her we preferred they wait a few weeks to give my wife space. She argued it was unfair since my mother-in-law could visit. I explained my mother-in-law is coming to help my wife recover, not just visit the baby. My mom said she felt excluded and compared it to my sister keeping her baby from her mother-in-law for 6 months. When I pointed out the hypocrisy, she dismissed it as different because she's been nice to my wife. Later, my mom called my wife directly, crying about feeling left out. My wife, who's sweet and hates conflict, got stressed and started doubting our plan. Furious, I told my mom if she upset my wife again, she wouldn't see the baby for 2 months, and I'd add more time for every call. I told my mom she...
W husband, I mean, look, listen, you might not like it, but that is her right to say, hey, listen, we don't want visitors for the first couple weeks. That's her right. That's his right to back her up on that. I don't hear anything wrong.
How much money do you make?
200,000. But it's like whenever, taxes and everything is deducted, she on my neck about payments and, what I'm saying, stuff like that. I get about at least 30,000, what I'm saying, to myself that I can use for myself and what I want to do.
I have heard that song and dance over and over again, where people come in here and say they make all of this money, but the moment they realize there's a possibility they can be placed on child support, they try to diminish it and say, oh, I don't make this much. And you said you make $200,000 a year. So is that true or is that not true?
That's true. How much am I looking to be paying per month?
I'm going to base your child support off of that $200,000 a year per your testimony. So under Texas law, it's capped. So I can't place you on child support based on $200,000 a year per se, because your child support will be a lot. So it will be capped, which will make your net resources $2,969. How much money do you?
This is why you never, ever, 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 ever say the big number. Say the small number. This is what I'm going to give everyone a little bit, not really advice, because I'm not allowed to give law advice. I'm not allowed to practice law. This is what I do. Stampede Land and Trust is my company. My company pays me a salary. That's what I go off of. I don't go off of the business. I go off of my salary. So my salary says I'm broke, but for some reason, I have a decent life.
Paramedics, what's something you did that went outside your job description? We had one rule on our paramedic team, and that was always be nice to Kimiko. She was a Korean nurse who worked at our hospital and was the sweetest girl you'd ever meet. If a baby patient was panicking or looked scared, she'd sing lullaby tunes for him while holding his hand. She would also bring everyone on the paramedic team daily lunch boxes and decorated each one based on the person she made it for. So you can guess our surprise when one day she showed up to the hospital with a black eye and apologized for not making us lunch that day. We immediately gathered around and asked what happened, to which she replied, I just had a disagreement with my boyfriend and tripped on the stairs. It's not a big deal. Everyone in our group knew what stairs really meant, and some of the guys were ready to send this guy to hell. That's when our leader came up with a brilliant plan. She grabbed some beer bottles and drove us all to Kimiko's house, where her boyfriend was waiting. We invited ourselves in and acted like old friends, while grabbing the boyfriend's shoulder and saying hi. Then we sat on the couch and said, we're just here to have a drink with you since Kimiko always says such nice things about her boyfriend. This guy thought we were here for revenge and looked really scared. We made him sit in between us and started talking about how far we would go if someone was stupid enough to hurt Kimiko. We even mentioned how we can get out of control when we get drunk and kept patting the guy's back while saying, thankfully, you would never hurt her. Am I right? He broke up with Kimiko the next day, and her life turned out to be better without him. Paramedics.
Never put your hands on any of my women friends. Now, if they put their hands on you first, defend yourself, but don't. Please don't. Please don't.
Hey, can you toss it over?
Dove Men helps neutralize odor-causing bacteria that thrive when stress sweat.
Okay, enough of that.
Stop! Betsy!
Don't you shoot my son! Look, my wife is a sergeant. Her name is Athena Grant. Please. Don't you shoot my son!
I'm gonna recommend suspension without pay while the department conducts their investigation. Most likely, there'll be no real consequences for their actions. I'm aware of the pattern, but I'm not gonna lie to you, Athena. This is probably gonna go away too. Certainly not for me.
I'm a cop. I was...
Leaving your favorite watering hole after shift? Turn off the engine. Step out of the car for me. How much you have to drink tonight?
Couple of beers.
I'm afraid we're gonna have to do a field sobriety test.
Sergeant, I didn't know that was your family when we made the stop.
Well, they were lucky then. Somebody else's family, and they could be making funeral arrangements right now.
I can report you. This is retribution.
If it was retribution, I would have done it when your kids were in the car.
Take her phone.
Something about Angela Bassett. It don't matter what role she plays. You don't see Angela Bassett. You see the role she's playing. You see who... Jesus. And she fine as all hell. She done aged like fine wine. Just mwah.
She's her own grown-up. Prior to the trial, she can only believe what is being told to her. And then after the trial, or after and during the trial, when some of the bull that may have been coming out about how, because one thing she exaggerates, well, we all know what she does is that she exaggerates or she adds little snarky comments, or she omits information that gives the impression that you should feel some kind of way emotional for her. So during and after the trial, if she picks up on it, great, but it's still her choice to be that friend. So
I thought.
how do you? She's her own grown
I
up.
have no clue who she is, but I have no clue who Lana is, but I know Tanika's 2 cents. She's pretty cool. Let's go.
Did you ever wonder why mashed potatoes are better in restaurants? It's because they don't boil. All you gotta do is start with some washed russet potatoes, and before baking them, for millennials' sake, hit that finger move real quick, and then roast your potatoes at 400 degrees until they're fork tender. Should take about 45-50 minutes. So here's what I do: cut them through, but not all the way, and then flip them all over. Next step, smash them down. This makes the peels come off easier. And as I peel them back, I scrape away the flesh like this. This whole process took less than 3 minutes. And while these potatoes are still steaming hot, we're gonna push them through a ricer. Now add your dairy. It's just melted cream and butter, and of course salt. I'm also doing a little white pepper, and bring it gently together, but don't overwork it. And if you want even smoother mashed potatoes, you can use a drum sieve. And remember, whenever you boil
What in the world?
you're gonna lose a little bit of flavor to the water. Hence why roasted mashed potatoes taste better.
Okay, that was pretty cool. I like that. Dude, stop kicking refrigerators, by the way, especially that nice specimen of a refrigerator. How dare you? Speaking of which, I need to get my mom a new refrigerator, so could you donate that one for me?
Well, Dylan, we have someone backstage we want you to meet. Bring out the story.
Okay, that's pretty. What the fuck did I just really watch? That was hilarious. Okay.
Think about it. Your eyes have eye drops, your mouth has mouthwash, and your lips have lip balm.
But there's not a product for your nose to enjoy. Introducing Boom Boom. It's like gum for your nose, but 10 times more minty fresh. Tropical Rush is our best seller. There's a base of menthol and peppermint in all of them.
Woo! Woo!
There you go.
Yeah. Really quite a hit.
Think about it. Your eyes have eye drops, your mouth has mouthwash, and your lips.
Okay, that is actually pretty cool. I like that.
I didn't allow my girlfriend to be a stay-at-home mom to her kids. I have been dating Amy since May 2022. She has 7-year-old twins, and we recently discussed moving in together. Everything was fine until she asked if we could find a place I could afford alone in case she became a stay-at-home mom. I was confused since we aren't planning on having more kids. I had a vasectomy. She said it's her dream to be a stay-at-home mom, and her boys would benefit from having her home. She admitted it would be a lot for me financially, but hoped we could make it work. I told her I wasn't comfortable being the sole breadwinner. While I could cover rent, affording groceries, bills, and the kids' needs would leave nothing for savings. The boys are in school most of the day, so while I respect her desire, I don't see it as necessary. I also said I'd be stressed knowing they all depended on me. She said she understood. A week later, her mom called, asking why I dated a single mother if I wasn't willing to step up. She insisted Amy could have more kids, but won't because of me, so I should support her dream. She said I was being stingy and unwilling to make sacrifices. I told her this wasn't her business, and ended the call. When I confronted Amy, she admitted venting to her mom and said she wanted me to hear a different perspective. I asked how she'd feel if I told my mom that Amy wanted me to bankroll her and let my mom tear her apart. She said I was taking it personally and should have expected tension. Now, I'm at a loss. I didn't allow my girlfriend to be a stay-at-home mom to her kids. I have been...
I don't know how to feel about that one. I think I need to hear more of the story, but you know, you're not... While taking in somebody who already has kids, I don't know. I'm gonna keep myself out of that one. Actually, I'm gonna let my guy, Mr. Vigilante Gamer, speak on that one. I'm not speaking on that one. When did it become cool to advertise yourself as a hoe? I have no clue.
The 16-year-old sisters, Jasmia and Tasmia
What the hell?
killed their mother and hid the truth, receiving 30 years in prison just 3 months later. On January 13, 2010 in Conyers, they found their mother's body at home, called the police, and pretended to be distressed, claiming they discovered her dead in a bloody scene, with her body dragged into the bathtub. Initially seen as victims, their injuries raised police suspicions. The investigation revealed inconsistencies in their story based on bloodstains and signs of a struggle. After 3 months of pressure, they confessed, explaining they had an argument with their mother over being late for school. They attacked her with kitchen tools, struck her with a red vase, stabbed her, and eventually dragged her into the bathtub, causing her to suffocate. They claimed their mother hated them in her final moments and cleaned the scene before going to school. With so many teenagers unhappy at home, is it a lack of communication or care? Is it the family's fault? Or do teens act impulsively? What do you think?
Nah, these kids need their ass whooped. That's what that is. But you know what? That's fine. You're going to get your ass whooped in that prison. Hope you're ready for it.
You are not his father.
Told this. That's why I wanted to get DNA.
Are you sure? How is that possible? Do you know who his father is?
You know who it is.
Nah, don't go crying.
Oh my God. Do you need to sit down, Miss Jackson? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh. Have you talked about it with the other gentleman, that it's a possibility? Yes.
But you never cheat on me.
You.
Yeah, that's something we never talk about right there. Everybody, ooh, men cheat. But as soon as those paternity tests, here they go. Cry. Nah, what you doing all that crying for? You wasn't crying when you was out there doing what you was doing. You wasn't crying then.
You're asking that he be placed on child support, correct?
Correct. We're divorced, but we live back together. We're trying to reconcile. We have 3 kids.
You guys live in the same house with the kids, and you're trying to reconcile this thing.
Only because of the kids.
If you're doing it because you believe it's in the best interest of the children, great.
The reason I let them back in is because, you know, child care is expensive.
Let me tell you what's really happening here. She's mad because I went to Cabo.
What did you go to Cabo for?
I went down there to relax, have a good time. You know, I work hard when I ain't working on my job. I'm taking care of the kids, cleaning, mopping the floors, cleaning the bathroom, everything. She think I'm down there cheating on her, playing around on her and stuff.
There is no way that he can be placed on child support and the kids live in the same home.
So I just need to kick him out again then.
You can't get child support and the kids reside in the same home as he.
Is it still legal? Like I can just throw his clothes on the curb and then
leave my courtroom because you are dismissed. You're at.
That's right. And that is the law. If both of you live in the same house, he cannot, no parent could be put on child support. Dummy.
Protein Rice Krispie Treats are crazy work. No way they're good. There's double chocolate, blueberry muffin, and marshmallow.
Talk about songs that just take you back. Like, now this was 6 years before I was born, so don't even ask how I know that song. No, we
Ever
ain't doing
feel
that.
like escaping the hustle and bustle of Toronto? Well, there's a whole other world beneath your feet. PATH is a network of underground pedestrian tunnels, walkways, and shopping areas in downtown Toronto. It
That looks
connects
pretty
many
cool.
major buildings and subway stations, making it possible to navigate the core without even stepping outside. Next time you're in the city, consider taking a stroll underground. What's your favorite hidden gem in Toronto?
Okay, I'm gonna have to go to Toronto. I got a homeboy, Toronto Walker, on here. He walks around Toronto all the time. I'm gonna have to get him to take me to this place because this looks pretty cool. That looks dope. I like it.
In just a few nights, I will be.
We gotta scroll because I'm not about to get copyright stricken by WWE.
What's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen? My upstairs neighbor was a nightmare. Every night at 3 a.m., she'd blast heavy metal, drag furniture around, and have screaming matches with her boyfriend. The walls would literally shake. My newborn baby hadn't slept properly in weeks. I tried everything. Polite notes, noise complaints, even offered to buy her expensive soundproof headphones. Her response? She cranked the music even louder and screamed down the stairwell. If you don't like it, move. I own this building now. Turns out, her dad had just bought the complex. She thought she was untouchable. That's when I discovered her secret. She worked nights at a hospital and slept during the day, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. exactly. So I invested in a professional drum set, took actual lessons, got really good, really fast, started a band with other angry tenants. We'd practice every single day at 8 a.m. sharp, right under her bedroom. After 2 weeks, she stormed down in her pajamas, mascara running, screaming about calling the police. I just smiled and played her exact words back. If you don't like it, move. She tried everything. Complaints, threats, even offered me money to stop. But every morning at 8 a.m., the drums kept playing. Finally, her dad showed up during one of her meltdowns. He was so embarrassed, he evicted her that day. The other tenants actually cheered as she packed her car. I never saw her again, but I did keep the drum set. My baby sleeps through the night now, and the building's never been quieter. What's the most satisfying?
Oh, we all have that one neighbor. Whether it's the neighbor that plays their music at 2 in the morning at full volume, or the ones that's just smashing all night. Like, I think I did. I had that one neighbor. It's like they were making OnlyFans content, and you're just like, are you serious? Go to bed. And, you know, if you ain't getting none, you don't want to hear anybody else get none. So, no. But they were actually really cool. They were actually a really cool couple, but they weren't really making OnlyFans. They just always sounded like they, never mind.
And that's all she's capable of, apparently, until we see differently. Maybe after she loses her rights, maybe after people stop sending her money. Do you know? She's in her 40s right now. She's got the rest of her life. Who's sending her money for panties when she's 60? Who's sending her Skittles? Do you know? So you would think she would be a little more judicious about how she treats her friends and how she interacts with people, and even like knowing who she is, fake that a little more. But she's not even capable of faking empathy, of faking being a better person.
That is a good question. Who are the people sending Sarah Boone money? And you do kind of wonder, how is she getting that? Now, I know that she's, you know, her brother sending her money, and that. If you don't know who Sarah Boone is, check out Tanika's 2 cents. She is amazing at covering. Lazy Gamer is another good one that you might want to check out as well.
I feel like I'm not as good as everybody else because they all got dads.
Oh,
don't ever feel
just
like
break
that.
my heart. Don't you ever feel like that. You are worth it. You are just as good. Do you understand me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because you are important and worth it. And whether we get the answer today or not, you still are worth it. That just breaks my heart. And that's why we do this. That is why I will do this till the day they say I can't do it no more. I want you to know that there are people that will go to war with you to find out the answers you need. And honey, you will never be in this fight by yourself. You got a soldier in me. You understand?
That mom trifling is all hell. 5 different men, 6 different men. Are you serious? Some things you should just never come on TV and say. Don't ever come on. No. That's why I'm glad my mom and dad only had 3 kids, and when they were done, they were done. No.
I can prove that he makes at least $4.7 million a year.
Miss Proctor, you brought this case before the court. What's going on?
My husband is extremely supportive of the children and me. I would like to reduce the amount that he has to pay because he's paying more than he should. It would really make me happy, Your Honor, if you could reduce the agreement that we have from $1,426.56 a month to $415 a month, please.
Sir, will you agree to everything that she's been saying, that's you all's agreement?
It is.
I'm sorry, can I interrupt you for a moment? I'm really not comfortable with this agreement. I have all the account information here provided to me by his bookie. He laundries money.
She's crazy.
That's okay, I'm crazy. I'll just agree to this.
So you're agreeing that you're crazy?
Absolutely, whatever he says, I'll agree to.
So what I'll do is go ahead and adopt the agreement between the two of you based on
Can you maybe make sure there's some life insurance for the children so that when he kills me that they'll be taken care of?
What the hell? She's crazy. You know, she is crazy. And you could tell she's crazy. But of course, somebody's going, oh, poor woman. No, she's crazy. No, we're not
Boss,
going.
I wasn't invited to the party. I recently started a new job. One coworker, Marie, is getting married soon, and it seemed like everyone in the office was attending. I didn't expect an invite. We barely know each other, and weddings are planned far in advance. I never acted hurt or made a big deal of it. Then I got CC'd on an email about a bridal shower for Marie during our lunch hour in the break room. It was organized by Joan, who asked everyone to contribute to a group gift via Venmo and bring a potluck dish. I sent $20 and offered to bring lasagna. I was happy to celebrate even if I wasn't invited to the wedding. A little later, Joan returned my $20 and came to my desk. She told me I wasn't invited to the shower. I was confused. It was happening in our shared break room during lunch. I asked if I wasn't allowed in there and where I was supposed to go. I don't drive and we're not near any restaurants. She said I could eat at my desk. I said that felt exclusionary, and she told me Marie just didn't want me getting my hopes up. I made it clear I didn't expect a wedding invite, but she stood firm. I let it go. The day of the party, I ate lunch alone at my desk while everyone else was in the break room. One kind coworker snuck me a slice of cake. Halfway through, our big boss, who's rarely in on Fridays, saw me and asked why I wasn't at the party. I simply said I hadn't been invited. Later that day, she sent an email banning all office parties during work hours. I told my boss I wasn't invited.
That's fair. You know, listen, if you're going to have parties on company property, everyone should be invited. If you do not want one person there, you need to move that party somewhere else. You don't get the, if it's not your company, Stampede Land and Home is mine. I throw parties. I throw whatever I want. If you want to throw a party for somebody, everyone has to be invited. If you don't invite everyone, you got to take that party somewhere else. 49th State, Glacier Ice House, there's a million places. Sullivan's, take it somewhere else. But you can't just say, no, this person, unless there's a history of that person causing issues, then you could do that.
I refused to give my parents the first grandchild after they disowned me. When I was 19, I got pregnant by my boyfriend. My conservative parents completely lost it. They called me irresponsible, said I was ruining my future, and gave me an ultimatum. Either give the baby up for adoption or be cut off completely. I chose to keep my baby, and they followed through. They cut me off financially and emotionally, and I didn't hear from them for years. It was incredibly tough, but I finished college, built my career, and raised my son on my own without any help from them. They never reached out, even though I kept them updated on where I was living. Fast forward to now, my younger sister had her first baby. Suddenly, my parents are obsessed with being grandparents. They threw a huge baby shower for her, post constantly about being first-time grandparents, and are acting like my son doesn't even exist. It hurt, but I let it go, not wanting to stir the pot. Then, a few weeks ago, they reached out to me after all this time. They said they want to reconnect because my son is technically their first grandchild, and they feel guilty for missing out on his life. They even had the audacity to say that my son deserves to know his real family. I couldn't believe it. I told them no. They made their choice 7 years ago, and I'm not going to let them waltz back into our lives just because they suddenly want to be grandparents. They got upset, calling me cruel and selfish for punishing them for past mistakes. My sister is telling me I should consider it for my son's sake, but I don't think I owe them anything. I refuse to.
You do not owe them anything, by the way. If they chose to not want to be a part of your child's life, that's their right. But they don't have a right to come back now and say, well, that's my grandchild. It was your grandchild when you didn't want the child. You don't get to come back in now. And the whole grandparents' rights, you could fuck off with that.
So I recently had to explain what a face card is to my parents who have never heard this lingo before. And I'm explaining to them that a person with a strong face card is a person who's so attractive that they can basically get anything they want, like a credit card with an unlimited balance. So like you'll hear people who think that they're very, very hot say things like, my face card never declines. And I'm sure some of you are thinking, may I never meet someone who is that full of themselves. But counterpoint, what if you were the person who could be that full of yourself? We know scientifically that having a clean, clear face makes you appear both more attractive and more trustworthy, which can open up so many doors. You just have to know how to take care of it. And Teach Hanley makes that easier than ever.
How did I know that an ad was coming? You know what? Let's let her get her cash.
Teach Hanley is a simple step-by-step men's skincare solution that gets you in the habit of washing, scrubbing, and moisturizing in the morning and at night. And I mean simple. It says right on here when you're supposed to do them. I've been having
Ma'am, let me tell you something real quick. Men do not use, well, I shouldn't say that. Most men don't use all this stuff. Here's what we do. We take the same 12-in-1 shampoo, body wash, car wash, dish wash, laundry detergent, stuff we scrub the floors with. and we just come out looking great. We don't need, a body wash and then a wash for down there and then a shampoo and then no. Look, listen. The same thing we use on our body is the same thing we use on our dishes. We will literally bring Tide Pods in. Do not question us. But get your money.
My teenage son take advantage of the kit, which goes a long way preventing stress breakouts while he's been playing the lead in his high school musical. And that's always a bonus when all eyes are on you. So use the link in my bio or down below, teej.com/dadvocate for 40% off your first skincare system, a free gift, and 20% off for life. There are ways to improve the credit limit on your face card. Better skin.
Okay.
My husband took a secret paternity test. Now our lives are in chaos. I have been with my husband since college, so I was shocked when he secretly took a paternity test on our 5-year-old daughter. When the results came back negative, he lost it, accusing me of cheating and demanding I leave. But I never cheated. He became distant, checking my phone and avoiding our daughter. When I confronted him, he admitted he took the test because we both have blue eyes, but our daughters are brown. I begged him to do more tests, and though he didn't trust me, he agreed. That's when everything shattered. Our daughter isn't biologically mine either. The hospital switched our baby at birth. A police investigation began, and we sued the hospital. But my biggest fear was, where is my real daughter? 2 weeks later, we got our answer. She was in foster care. The family who took her home was under investigation, and she was placed in state custody. We immediately started the adoption process. The hospital settled for nearly $2 million, and we're moving to a new state for a fresh start. Our daughter is excited to have a sister, and we're focused on giving both girls the best life possible. As for my husband, he deleted Reddit and promised to trust me, because in the end, our baby being switched at birth was more likely than me cheating.
Wait a minute. Your husband deleted Reddit, but here you are on Reddit. Man, doesn't make no sense.
Now playing.
Okay, that's gonna be it right there. This video would be about 45 minutes. If we scrolled the way I scrolled through this would be like 20 years long. I don't feel like doing that. So, guys, have a good day. Have a good week. And don't forget to go get yourself a crumble cookie. I don't know what the flavors are just yet. I ain't checked, but get yourself that crumble cookie.